Hi, and welcome back. I'll be sharing the lessons I've learned from reading Joshua 9 to 11, and I hope you have lessons that you've learned as well. So, we are still on Joshua and his conquest to take the land that the Lord had promised him. And Israel's conquest soon spread throughout the land, and the kings of the lands made a coalition to fight against them together. So now it wasn't a case of, oh, let's wait till we are defeated. Let's come together and get ahead of these Israelites in their mind. However, the Gibeonites, who knew all about God's truth, hid their identity and came to make a treaty with Israel to avoid destruction. Now, reading all the drama and the things they went through, I have to give them an E for efforts for, the moldy bread and the old clothes. They really just wanted to save themselves, and they knew they had a chance, obviously, which is why I said they knew about God's truth. Was because if you remember back when God was giving them commands for the land, he said for the lands within the promised land, they had to be utterly destroyed, because obviously God was using Israel as the instrument of judgment for them. But the lands around them, they would first come with peace, and then if they don't agree, then they give them the business. So these ones came as if they came from far, as if they were a land that wasn't within the tribe, which was why they entered into a peace treaty with them. And obviously the Israelites didn't consult with God, and they went into that treaty blindly. And because they had done it in the name of the Lord, they couldn't go back on it. So obviously, I'm sure that they were mad. Obviously, when Joshua and the elders found out, they couldn't go ahead and kill them. So instead, they made them water bearers and wood cutters for the service unto God. Basically, they are slaves, and those ones are fine as long as long as I don't get killed, I'm okay. The coalition of the 5 kings of the Ammonites to recapture Gibeon was because of its strategic location and the fact that they made peace with Israel. The Gibeonites asked Joshua for help, and he asked God for help, and God fought for them, sending hailstones, granting Joshua's request for the sun to stand still throughout the battle, and giving him a precise and unprecedented victory over the Ammonite kings. Were all just ways that God just shows his hand. So now that they've gone to him to say, Lord, and remember, this is becoming a trend. They didn't ask God before they went to I. That was what happened. Now they didn't consult with God. They went into this treaty, but when they came back, God gave them the victory. So how amazing is that, to know that even when you're just like going on your own path, you can always redirect. God is always waiting for you. Joshua and the Israelites went on a campaign through the Southlands, conquering all of the 6 cities and killing their kings. God gave them victory at every town and every city. He utterly destroyed all as God commanded, and that was Joshua. The northern conquest began at Hazor, a formidable city, but God was with Joshua and the Israelites. He gave them strategy and everything that they needed in order to defeat them and the cities surrounding them. That's the land of Hazor. Joshua was at war for a very long time. So I understand that the time frame for that conquest was about 7 years. And the kings and the cities and all the people around him, he waged war with them and he conquered them all. And he did all except for the Hittites. The Hittites were the Gibeonites who managed to stay alive and were now serving them as servants because of their wisdom, quote unquote. And we also learned that Joshua defeated the giants, the Anakims, who lived in the mountains of the land. So now I thought about the giants in the mountains. How scary. But then he killed them all except for some that remained in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod. Now remember, Goliath was from Gath. So it was probably like a descendant of the people, of the ones that lived or survived and lived in Gath. Now here's my hashtag getting to know God lesson. God is always willing to grant our requests when we set our hearts to obey him. He does that miraculously and will not hesitate to do what we pray for according to his will, just like he did when Joshua asked for the sun to stand still. The battle could have been won, before then, or maybe Joshua just felt, or after then rather, and Joshua felt like he needed time, and he was doing God's will, and God obeyed, or God acquiesced rather to his prayer, and gave him more time to win that battle, and even assisted him with some. I heard that it wasn't even all documented, all the things that God did with the hailstones, that there were all kinds of things that happened, like, even nature fought for Joshua in these battles and gave them victory. So sometimes some prayers that might just seem so crazy, ask God, as long as it's according to his will, it is his good pleasure to grant them unto us. That's amazing to know, isn't it? Thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow it'll be lessons from Joshua 12 to 15 that I'll be sharing, and I hope you will come prepared. See you then.